Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest GFS, GM, ECMWF, and then we'll have a look at the GFS ensembles, and we'll have a look at various weather models for the temperatures, the warm temperatures next week, and then we'll finally have a look at the radar, as we do have some light rain around, but it is fragmenting and dissipating. Do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, as I'll keep you up to date on all the latest models and what the temperatures are going to be like next week. So firstly, we'll have a look at the GFS, and you can see we've got high pressure building over the top of the UK. This low pressure out towards a lot of Iceland has its weather fronts encroaching on the UK, and that's why we've had a bit of rain today, especially in further west and southern areas as well. However, it's sort of fragmenting as it running into the high pressure. It's really fragmenting away and should be dissipating overnight. The high pressure continues to build into tomorrow, and we'll firstly see a quite warm day tomorrow. And you can see with the upper air temperatures, you can see it's generally around 5 degrees at 850 HPA, which will give temperatures around maybe 20 degrees or so, maybe a degree or two either side. Beyond that, the high pressure continues building to our east, and because it's to our east, low pressure to our west, with this sort of low down towards the Bay of Biscay, it starts to bring up southerly winds, and we do get this waft of southerly winds. Now, there is an area of low pressure associated with those southerly winds, and it's because of that pressure gradient is why we get the southerly winds. But that low pressure will provide some instability, and with the warmer and upper air temperatures with humid air, we could be seeing some thunderstorms. And you can see as we head into next week, you see that low pressure actually sweeps through, and it does send a cold front through that could bring a lot of thunderstorms. But the low pressure doesn't really take control. We continually have higher pressure in control further southwards, so we'll maintain fairly dry further southwards. Further north and westwards, maybe some rain around, and generally pretty warm. But again, you can see as we head towards the end of the run, nothing too warm there. However, as we head right towards 284 hours, we continue with that high pressure theme with warm conditions. If we have a look at the GEM to see how that compares, you can see again very similar patterns to the GFS. And then as we look sort of towards Monday, you can see that high pressure moves out eastwards, bringing up southerly winds, bringing some very warm air, and then that low moves in with heavy rain and potentially some thunderstorms, and it does sweep through some cooler air, but nothing too cold. Still feel fairly pleasant when you do see sunshine, and those lows sort of mill around to our west, probably with the heaviest rain further westwards with that, and generally high pressure more dominant in the south. Now, it's still uncertain how that low will move through, but it's definitely looking like it will move through. But high pressure will always be there further eastwards and further southwards. So it's just going to be exactly seeing where that dividing line is. We'll see where we think thunderstorm set up and where we do see it continuing being warm and dry. If we have a look at the ECMWF, again, the same as GMZ and the GFS for the first few days, and then we put up those southerly winds, and then that low sort of mixes in within that warm air and stays to our north before high pressure starts to build in before day 10. So it's a pretty messy picture in terms of the pressure patterns. You can see there's lots of upper level troughs. So although it's going to be warm and probably quite dry for the early part of next week, as we head towards sort of Wednesday onwards, it could be going quite thundery, but still relatively warm. If we look at the GFS ensembles, you can see that well reflected. You can see temperatures rising over the next few days, sort of peaking at 850 HPA around sort of Wednesday, Thursday next week, before precipitation spikes start to come in as that low interacts with the warm air. You can see this is a 6Z, so that GFS operational run isn't accurate. We still looked at the 12Z. But you can see generally ensemble members are well above average, perhaps between maybe around 7 or 8 degrees at 850 HPA, maybe warmer, maybe a touch cooler, but generally quite warm with precipitation signals, which means there's going to be some big thunderstorms around, and we're going to have to really keep an eye on that. And that's something we'll probably look at towards the weekend and start of next week, as the precipitation chance won't be too accurate there at this stage, as it's going to be very difficult to pinpoint it more than a few days out. Generally, in the longer term, there's no real signal for anything too dry, but nothing too low pressure dominant either. You can see there's still precipitation spikes, but again, that could be convective shower activity. But generally, temperatures will look around or just above average, which means June does look like it's going to be starting off relatively warm, which I know many people will like, considering we've had quite a cold spring so far. If we have a look at the temperatures, we'll go through the GFS, GM, and the icon runs, just to give a general gist of what the temperatures are going to be like. Again, there'll probably be a degree or two out, as sometimes the weather models don't quite model sort of surface heating too well, but it'll just give us a general idea. You can see through Saturday, maybe 18, 19, maybe even 20 degrees in the southeast. Every day warming up a touch more, maybe Sunday 20, 21 more widely. And then Monday, perhaps 20, 21, 22 degrees quite widely. So, and the big thing about this sort of warmer spell is it's widespread. It's not going to be concentrated just in the east or south. You can see temperatures getting up into the 20s in northern England, northern Scotland, parts of Ireland as well. So, going to feel quite warm. Through Tuesday, again, another quite warm day, maybe 23, 24 degrees. And then again, Wednesday, and a bit warmer, but a bit cooler, but still relatively warm out, 18, 19 degrees, as that low pressure takes more influence and probably brings more shower activity in. Still feeling mid to high teens, but again, with those showers in, it will have some surface cooling. If we do have a look at the GM, you can see again, very similar pattern to the GFS in terms of sort of low 20s over the weekend, quite widely. The GM went very warm yesterday, potentially looking at 30 degrees, so it'll be interesting to see whether it has backed off or is reassuring with that. See him again, 20, 21 degrees on Sunday. Monday, perhaps 24, maybe 25 degrees, so quite warm there indeed. Tuesday again, very warm, 25, 26, getting up to 30 degrees in the near continent. And then Wednesday, perhaps Wednesday getting up to high 20s, maybe 26, 27 degrees in central England somewhere. So again, GM is definitely showing the potential for high 20s. And looking at the weather models, I would suspect we could be seeing high 20s. As over the last few days, it's been relatively warm and humid in the UK. But the forecast only predicted 16, 17 degrees, and it's actually got up to 20 degrees today. So again, it'll be very hit and miss when we do get up to that high 20s. So we'll really have to keep an eye on that. And again, it'll have everything to do with cloud amounts and whether shower activity, or at least what time shower activity comes into play. But again, similar to the other models, Thursday and Friday are a bit cooler as we've got weather fronts, or at least occluded fronts and convergence zones associated with that low pressure running up from the Bay of Biscay and from the south, and in from the Atlantic as well. So, temperatures will be suppressed a little bit when we do start to have those heavy showers and thunderstorms moving in. If we finally have a look at the icon run, again, very similar to the GM and GFS over the weekend, maybe 20 degrees or so on Saturday, and again, 20 degrees quite widely on Sunday once again. Bank holiday Monday, feeling very warm indeed, widely 21, 22 degrees for pretty much everywhere. And then Tuesday, again, 20, 21, 22 degrees once again, quite widely again, perhaps the warmest day of the week there on the icon run. For Wednesday, does start to cool down a tad, but actually no, by the afternoon it does really pick up to around 24, 25 degrees, so maybe perhaps the last day of heat before those weather fronts come in. Because if we do just briefly have a look at precipitation, you can see the weather front further southwards affecting southwestern parts coming through sort of Wednesday, and that will bring in instability, some cooler temperatures, but also the potential of some big thunderstorms. Lastly, if we have a look at the live precipitation radar, you can see how we've got that weather front strung across sort of western areas into the southeast, and it's really fizzling apart. There's a few heavier pulses in there, but I think that's more convection based along the weather front. But again, this weather front really is fizzling out, and if we do run it back a few hours, you can see how it was more widespread earlier today, and it's really making very little progress. So if unfortunately you have been positioned under this rain band today, it's been a bit disappointing, but it is fragmenting and turning more sunny with the cloud breaking apart as the weather fronts really start to dissipate. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again for another video soon.